What would really happen if suddenly every immigrant didn't show up for work? In 2006, a sleeping giant opened its eyes when millions of immigrant workers took to the streets to show just that. The question today, with ICE terror hanging over our communities, could that happen again? Day after day, raids and abductions tear families apart, meant to push people into the shadows. We've seen this before. In 2006, anti-immigrant forces were on the march, pushing the racist Sensenbrenner bill to make undocumented presence a felony, punish churches and neighbors who offered help, and double down on walls and prosecutions. It was meant to terrorize working-class immigrant communities and make them disappear. But something unexpected happened. Immigrants refused to disappear, and grassroots organizing flourished. Spanish-language DJs, morning hosts reaching millions, put out the call for mass protest. Con orgullo y poder.
Asiste y apoya esta marcha en contra de la proposición de Sensenbrenner que castigaría a todo aquel que ayude a los inmigrantes sin documentos. Te esperamos el sábado 25 de marzo en las esquinas del Olympic y Broadway en Los Ángeles a las 10 de la mañana.
Churches, student groups, and hometown clubs answered. The wave spread city to city, block to block. Then came one of the largest protest waves in modern US history, reminiscent of when Black America demanded freedom and power in the 1960s. Everyone faced the same question. Will you stand with immigrant working families or stand by while our communities are attacked? From Los Angeles to Chicago to Denver to Houston, hundreds of thousands marched. Even deep in the South and Midwest, cities small and large saw immigrant-led protests for the very first time. Labor heard the call too. Unions with deep immigrant roots, SCIU, Unite Here, UFCW, UFW, representing everyone from janitors to meatpackers, joined the fight, called on members to mobilize, and helped turn outrage into collective power. The movement rallied around May Day, International Workers' Day, a declaration. We are workers, not illegals, not criminals, and you need us. The call went beyond rallies, a full boycott. No work, no school, no buying, no selling. A day without immigrants. And it scared the powerful. President George W. Bush and California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger begged people to protest only after work or on weekends, anything to avoid disruption. Bosses and pundits warned that walkouts would be bad for the economy, but the message from the movement was clear. We are the economy. People answered with a chant that crossed languages and borders. Sí se puede. Yes, we can. It meant dignity, courage, and the refusal to be pushed out of public life again. On May 1st, millions filled the streets across the United States. Cities slowed to a halt. Construction sites, factories, fields, and restaurants stood quiet. The message was unmistakable. This country runs on immigrant labor. And it worked. The May Day actions made the immigrant rights movement impossible to ignore, and corporate America quake. They changed the conversation from criminalization to citizenship, from scapegoating to solidarity. For weeks afterward, immigration dominated the national conversation. From break rooms to classrooms and news desks to dinner tables, anti-immigrant commentators tried to smear the protests as radical or un-American, but the truth was in the streets. The Sensenbrenner bill died in Congress. Out of that fight came a new generation of leaders who would later fight for and win DACA in 2012, protecting hundreds of thousands of undocumented youth. The movement proved something powerful. When we move together, when we shut down business as usual, we can change the national agenda. It showed that the immigrant working class is not invisible. It's the beating heart of the American workforce. But the right wing has dusted off the same playbook to demonize and distract. Yet the giant that rose in 2006 is still here. It lives in every community defense network, in every union hall, church basement, WhatsApp thread, and kitchen where families plan how to keep each other safe. If we want money for healthcare, jobs, and education, not for war, cages, and deportation, if we believe in the dignity of all working people, we have to remember the lesson of 2006. Real power means shutting down business as usual. That's why new calls are echoing from the streets of Chicago and across the country, saying it's time again to get ready for a general strike for immigrant and American workers alike. To walk off the job, out of the classroom, shutter the storefronts, and shut down corporate America. In 2006, we proved it once. Si se puede was not a slogan, it was a plan. And it still is. The sleeping giant is stirring. Its time is coming once again.